In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use the count puzzle with GroKit Core. Count puzzles can be useful when you need to use multiple objects to perform a combined task. We'll take a look at one example here. First, I'll come to my GroBlocks menu and type count. I'll add a count connector to the scene. The count connector has an outward activator component, an inward activator component, and count puzzle component. The intended use of this is to tell the inward activator on our count connector to do its own event when we want to increase the count and its off event when we want to decrease. Once the count puzzle reaches the max count, the complete event will run. In this case, it will tell the outward activators on event to fire. Right now, what activator doesn't have any events, but we will add some soon. Let's test this out by setting up an example. I'll come back to my GroBlocks menu and type item. I will add an item ID trigger to the scene and a debug grab item with ID so that we have two objects that can interact with each other. I will also add a debug color changer to the scene so that we can tell when our count puzzle is complete. So working through the count puzzle functionality, we want the inward activator on event to fire when our item ID grab object interacts with our item ID trigger. Then, when the count puzzle has reached its max count, in this case 2, we want the outward activator on event to tell our color changer to change a color. What this means is we will need two debug grab objects, and both will need to be inside the item ID trigger in order for a color changer to change to green. My count connector on event will have the debug color changer inward activator run on. That will tell the debug color changer inward activator to set our color changer to green. Then on the item ID trigger outward activator, we can simply slot in the inward activator of our count connector. Because the inward activator on event off event correspond to the outward activator on and off, we have the outward activator on and off events corresponding with the accepted item ID entering or exiting the trigger. Let's test this out. If we watch the count puzzle component on our count connector's current count, we'll see it go up as I enter the trigger with each of my debug grab objects. If I enter with both, we should see our color changer turn to green. Now, when I remove one of these from the trigger area, we can see that nothing happens. And that's because we didn't tell our count puzzle's outward activator to tell our debug color changer to change back. So if we slot that in now in our inward activator off event, we can see when we enter and leave, it now turns red. That's all for count puzzles. Check out our other tutorials for more.